Hello, everybody at KindFest USA. I see people are putting stuff in the chat. I'm going to be with you the whole part 2 to introduce speakers that I'm very excited to see myself. When we have breaks, make sure you go on the floor, go to the different tables, be excited, get involved with those people, and connect with each other. It's so key that we all connect, because if we're doing this just to see speakers and stuff, that's wonderful. But to be a community, you have to connect with a community. So I encourage you to put your LinkedIn profile, reach out to people, but be on Twitter, get there and be there. Oh, somebody said a fabulous shirt. Heck yeah, it is. I have all kinds of surprises this afternoon, but what I want to do is make sure to bring up our first speaker. So Scott, will she show up before I introduce her? How does this work? Isn't this fun? I love technology. I love live TV type stuff. All right. Oh, you know what's missing is we should ask, will I find the speaker or not? Look at the thing. Oh, what does it say? I love the magic 8-ball. Come on. Signs point to yes. Oh, look at that. There she is. Look, I hate formal introductions. I think it takes away from everything. You are going to meet Khalilah Olukunola, who is unbelievably wonderful. Her life story will change you because she went down a certain path, had something happen that I want her to share, to show how that you can move ahead regardless of what happens to you. When you know her, she's KO. If you don't know her, you follow her on Twitter, you get to know her, because she will change your life for the better. She is going to talk today about activating the KIND code. KO, off to you.
Yeah, hi guys. I'm so excited to be here today. So excited to talk to you guys on activating the KIND code. Thank you, Steve, for introducing me. My story, like everybody's story, life happens, and I found myself in a world of trouble. And that world of trouble, put me in a situation where when I came home, I had to check the box. And so if you were in HR, you know what that means, that, I had a felony. But what I realized when I came home is that the American dream I wanted wasn't about a house or a picket fence. It was about making impact in the lives of others who had something in them, but had to be stirred and pushed to be put in a position that they could be in. And so today, despite my background and my history, I am EVP of Human Resource at True Colors. It's a for-profit brewery with a closely knit social mission to unite gang rivals and decrease violence in our city and in cities across the country. For us, HR is different. It's culture, it's education, it's opportunity, it's community. We have all the other things, compliance, but it's more about cultivating that connection, because our mission is to unite gang rivals. So it's important that we have processes and systems in place to bring people together, to build bridges so that they can cross and to break down barriers. And so today, like Steve said, I'm so excited to talk to you on the topic of activating the KIND code. I like to interact. And so, say something in the comment area, during, I'm really responsive and can pivot with the conversation. And so in an effort to help you and all of us make kindness the norm and not the exception in our life, today, my goal is to inspire you with this presentation that I've entitled The KIND Code. I want to talk to you about what kindness is and what it's not. I want to give you some tips to help you dig in. And then I want to activate you so that you can walk away with a new perspective on kindness. So we know that kindness is not what you say, it's what you do and who you are. Kindness is a deep-seated characteristic that really should be at the core of our culture, our conversation, our cultivation in our workplace community. Kindness is an attitude, an attribute. And for this conversation, guys, it's an acronym. Remember that for me, because we're going to come back there at the end. I know you're probably asking yourself right now, how do I activate the KIND code? What does that mean? Is it tangible? Is it something that I can use? Is it something that I can touch or that I can define for myself individually as a person and for the team or the people I serve in the company that I work for? So today I'm going to give you 4 tips for how you activate the KIND code. And then I'm going to end, like I said, with activating you. Are you ready to dig, dismantle, define, dive in, and do? So when you dig, right, you give yourself and your company that you work for what I call a kindness audit. It will always be tied to your culture and your values. Like, I want you to take some time right now and ask yourself how you and your team are leading. Are you breathing and eating who you say you are and what you say you're going to do? Not just internally in the workplace, but externally to client and customers for those of you who have outward facing organizations. Remember, we have to lead by example. A culture of kindness is shaped by how a company leaders act. So if you are in a position of leadership, somebody's watching you. If you were in True Colors, I would tell you that the streets were watching. It always means that people are paying attention to how you behave and if it coincides and coexists with who you say you are. Every leader needs to internally and externally reflect the company's values and be the strongest advocate. And so my first point on how to activate the kind code is to dig, right? You have to start with digging into yourself. And when you're looking at your company, you're having a kindness audit. Number two, you have to dismantle. You have to unpack kindness. We have to look at the bags that it's been packed in. And those bags are behaviors, actions, the groups it affects, and the systems that we've redesigned or designed to be bridges and bypasses like we've done here, and not barriers or barricades. And then looking at those bags, we understand what we need to take away, what we need to redefine, what we need to separate, and what's not working. And we may find some things that works. But remember, when talking about kindness, it's not what you say, it's who you are and it's what you do. So dig, dismantle. Number three is define. What does kindness look like for me and my team? Everybody's definition is going to be different, but it has the same thing at the core. Is how is my mission? And if we're designing programs and systems, how does myself, my team, my mission, and the money I need to use to create these systems and these programs all coexist? Because whatever you design has to be sustained. And that's when you're defining it. When you're defining it, you're looking at a common language for you and your team. You're looking at the values that you all believe in, and you're looking at the standards that you guys all stand by. In order for a kind culture to be successful, all company members have to speak the same language. We have to be on the same page. We all have to believe in our values. And that may require a kindness course. And what that does is when you present what you're defining, what you dug in and what you dismantled, it lays out your position, your plan, your purpose, and how it affects your people. And if you define the example, the people that you're serving can operate in it. Man, this is good for me. My next point is you dive in. Set the rules in a level of importance that is equal to compliance. After the 2020 that we all have faced, right? Our vision, our mission statement, our culture, our community have all re-engineered HR. We look at it different. We look at our workplace different. We empathize with people at a new level and in a different way. And so when we dive in, we begin to set rules that we believe can affect change. We begin to put things in place in order to position our people for what we're asking them to do. We re-engineer, we reimagine, we take out hammers of hope, right? And we do things for people that we thought that we would have never done before, but it's all in line with making sure that we are producing a culture of kindness, that we're activating something on the inside of our team members that is going to affect not a one-time change, but a sustainable change. And then finally, we just do it. You just treat people right. You know, if you treat people the way you want to be treated, then you would see an increase in workplace productivity. You would see an increase in client and customer interaction. They have something called a centric culture. And it's when you begin to address issues and build relationships with people before you actually make a physical connection. Similar to your customers, you talk to them before they make the buy. When you're hiring people, you can have conversations with them with the things that you put on social media, with what you produce and how you act. So you do it. You do things that you know that is going to set the example for who you say you are and what you say you're going to do. And so for us, when we do things like dig in, when we dismantle, when we define, when we dive in and we just do it, we realize that we have to, number one, do what we say we're going to do. Number two, we have to inject the same kindness and positivity that we want to inject with us. And we have to show up on time. And that may sound like time management to you, but it's not. Showing up on time, meaning that you're present when you need to be present for the position that you are putting a plan in place for people to follow. And so after hearing all that, we understand that kindness should never be an experiment, guys. It should always be an experience. Kindness as an attribute, if activated, can be habitual. It says it takes 21 days to form and imagine a company that invests 21 days of kindness. There's a week in February that's called random acts of kindness. And if we would begin to institute programs and systems in our workplaces and in our lives where kindness would become a habit, it would form and we would see a change. But I told you early on that kindness, the word kind, was also an acronym. What does that acronym stand for? The K is knowledge, the I is inspires, the N is new, and the D is direction. Knowledge inspires new direction. When you dig in, when you define, when you dismantle, when you dive in, when you do with the knowledge that you have and that you receive, it will inspire you to shape systems, build new platforms, and do things that you never thought you would do. It would take you in the direction that you need to go in for the people that you're serving. Let me end with this story. There was a lady who was checking out at Walmart, and the cashier had this vibrant color hair. It was pink. She's never seen it before. She told her that she loved her hair color, and the cashier went from a blank look as she scanned the groceries to an engaging smile. And then she proceeded to talk to the customer about how she was able to achieve that color. What happened there is that she realized that kindness is activated through conversation. That conversation leads to a deeper dialogue in form of personalized communication, and that communication can cultivate a meaningful connection. When you understand what triggers your team, you can strategically align systems and processes that connect passion, that connect position, that connect purpose, and it can align your profit. In closing, I told you in the beginning that kindness was an attitude, an attribute, and an acronym. I want you to ask yourself, what knowledge can inspire a new direction for me? When you activate the kind code, it starts with you knowing you and you knowing the people that you serve. If you're going to do it with the conversation, that conversation is breaking the ice with people different than you. Rediscovering who you are and who you're not so you can fill the gaps in between. Accepting responsibility for the things you do and the things that you don't do that you know you should. Venturing outside of your comfort zone, because being kindness sometimes it's hard. And that could mean, talking to a new community, a person that you never spoke to before, or doing something different. And then that E is encourage, engage, and execute the system to build a culture of community, one of kindness. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today on activating the kind code. I hope it stirred up something on the inside of you.
Tears on the first one. God, give it up. You've got to go crazy for this. Khalilah, oh my gosh. I'm done. I'm just spent. That was, thank you. Thank you. That was, woo.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll try to get silly. Show this. Look, here's what Khalilah did. This is how we look at life. This is how we look at everything around. And if you incorporate this, it all comes apart. Khalilah, thank you so much for starting off part 2. You are amazing. Woo! Okay, now go to the floor, be at the tables, get excited. Oh, part 2 is going to rock. Don't you miss a single minute.